Horn Jr. I have some breakdown, some analysis that I want to impart on to everybody out there that's listening. I want to say shout out to all the other content creators. Shout out to those in the chat room. I'm glad that you came over. You're going to enjoy this one today because we're going to break down, particularly, we're going to talk about my man right here, Jimmy Horn Jr. right now. As you know, he was given an invitation to the East-West Shrine game. And he's been getting some rave reviews in terms of what he's been able to do and produce in the practices, to the point that you have NFL scouts that eyes are gloriously watching him. They like what they see. They see the potential in Jimmy Horn Jr. I like what I see. And this is to me a reflection on this young man's character, because remember, he went through injuries. There were games this year and even last year where he didn't play his best, and he didn't leave CU. He didn't go and transfer somewhere else. He stuck it out through the thick and thin, and it's paid off for him. What I want to say to you all coming into the chat room today is I want to put this up. Coach Prime has a lot to do with the success that Jimmy Horn Jr., I believe, is about to have in the NFL. And this is what I want to say. Now, we know without a shadow of a doubt that Travis Hunter is like a gem that only comes along every 10 to 20 years. He's like a comet, a star that's popping in the sky. I have no doubt that this young man's work ethic, when he gets to the pros, that he has the potential to be a great one. There's people that are saying that Travis Hunter, he could be drafted by the Cleveland Browns. There's a debate right now about whether the Cleveland Browns should go with a quarterback like Deion Sanders, right? Or should they go with Travis Hunter because he's a dual threat both on offense and on defense. But this is the issue, and I want everybody to understand my analysis today. We can make the argument that, or not the argument, it's just a fact that Travis Hunter was the most prolific receiver on this team, right? To the point that it got him to the Heisman Trophy. But let's not sleep on Jimmy Horn Jr. I've seen this happen before, ladies and gentlemen, where one guy is a star in college. Another guy is a decent player in college, but he has injuries. He doesn't really, the opportunities are not always there for him to cash in on because of injuries. And they get to the NFL, and the guy that everybody is expecting to be the big star, in this case, Travis Hunter, which I have no doubt that he's going to be a star. But the guy who we sometimes sleep on is the guy who doesn't have all the accolades. He doesn't have the Heisman Trophy. He didn't put up big numbers. I think last year, Travis Hunter finished the season with, 1,258 yards with 15 touchdowns, where Jimmy Horn was only able, because he had injuries, Jimmy Horn was able to take down he went for 441 yards, 1 TD, and 37 receptions. But however, it's still, as the scouts are saying, it's still putting him on the radar of the NFL. And we shouldn't sleep on Jimmy Horn, because I think that he has the potential to be a better NFL player than he was a college player at the receiver position. Don't be surprised that if this man, Jimmy Horn, if Jimmy Horn isn't the one that ends up stepping up, ends up becoming the star that we all know that Travis Hunter is right now at the college level. He's got a lot. He's going to have to prove his worth in the pros. Let me put this up here for you as well. When you look at the receivers that are going into this year's draft, you got to ask yourself, who's really going to make an impact in the NFL? All right? Is it going to be Jimmy Horn? Is it going to be, as I said before, Travis Hunter, who I think can? Will it be a Will Shepherd, who also played in that Shriners game? Or he was at the practice? What I'm saying to you is, I think that Jimmy Horn, his what do you call it? His stock is rising. And I think his ability to get better at the pro level, some guys, this happens. Some guys are decent in college. They get to the pros and they become the star. And the guy that you think is going to be the star ends up having a decent career, but it's the guy that didn't get the accolades. The guy that you said he's good, but he had some issues where sometimes he didn't play well. Sometimes he dropped balls, because Jimmy Horn Jr. has had those problems with dropping footballs at times when he did not play his best game. But his overall potential, like Travis Hunter, is one that can only go sky high. This is the attributes that Jimmy Horn Jr. has that I want people to understand. Travis Hunter is a great player. Sensational, once in a lifetime. But Jimmy Horn, when you really do the scouting report on him, when you really break it down, he has the attributes that the NFL is looking for, which is what? Speed. They say that speed does what? That speed kills. They say that speed is a killer. That you can't teach speed. You can't coach that up. You either have speed or you don't. And a lot of teams in the NFL are looking for speedy wide receivers, guys that they can put in a slot. And we've seen in the NFL that there's a lot of guys like Jimmy Horn that can do damage. I see Jimmy Horn Jr. as a slot receiver, pretty obvious. I think it's pretty obvious that in the NFL level, at 5'8", with his credentials at 5'8", 5'10", 170, but some people are measuring him at 5'8", right? Some people are saying, the NFL scouts are saying, hey, he's 5'8". Different scouting reports say different things. 5'8", 5'9", 5'8". At the end of the day, NFL teams, he's in terms of what we would call a textbook receiver. He doesn't have the size in terms of, being 6 foot tall, 6'2", 6'1", that a lot of NFL teams look for. But we've already seen players in the NFL who don't have, they're not tall, but they have speed. I see Jimmy Horn as a slot receiver at the NFL level. I see him being able to do a lot of damage in the slot because of his speed. And I think because of his speed, his stock is rising up. Due to his performance at the East Shrine practice, he ended up not playing in the game due to injury, due to not wanting to get injured, right? That's just like Shador did not play. Cam Ward, who's becoming his nemesis now, his rival. You've been seeing those guys going back and forth with each other. Because these are guys that are going to go in the first 5 to 10 rounds, they're saying, the scouts are telling Shador, for those of you that are saying, why did Shador not practice? Because the NFL scouts are telling him, don't practice. Don't even play in the game. We want you 100% on our program. Now, Jimmy Horn Jr. coming into this situation, I want to put this up here. Some had him rated as maybe a 7th round receiver, possibly. Let me read this. Few, if any, prospects help their draft stock more than Jimmy Horn. Throughout the practice, he showed quickness, great hands, and a knack for creating separation. That's what they're looking for in the NFL. Now, everybody, let me tell you my favorite team in the NFL. Well, I've been a 49ers fan since I was knee high. What's one of the problems that I see with my football team in terms of the pro level as the 49ers is that they got Debo, and I don't know if Debo is going to be with the team much longer. Brandon Ayuk, he had an injury. They drafted some guys last year. They didn't look that great. Of course, it was their rookie year. But one of the problems in the NFL is that you have a lot of guys that are possession receivers, meaning they can catch the ball within the lines. They're physical. They could break some tackles when they catch the ball, but they don't have the ability to get down the field and break a team's heart. This is why his stock is going to go up. Yes, Travis Hunter is going to be a star in the NFL, but the one thing that separates, and I got to be honest about this, and we all got to be honest about this, the one thing that separates Jimmy Horn Jr. from a Travis Hunter in his greatness is that he has the one element that you can't teach and the one element that every NFL team is looking for, which is why they have the 40-yard dash. They clock you on that dash. And that is speed, baby. Speed, pure speed. The ability to separate, the ability to get behind the line and make the big play, because the NFL is a spread you out lead right now. It says here, Horn is small, and his underwhelming number at Colorado this past season at wide receiver 4 by production may have him at the 7th round bubble, meaning a lot of scouts are looking at him in the 7th round. Damn it, I hope my 49ers can get him. I'm asking for my 49ers to draft him because we need speed. Now, Jimmy Horn, the scouts are saying that Jimmy Horn is definitely going to have to work on making sure that he secures the football, that he decrease the rate of drops, because they're looking at that too. Like, hey, how often does he drop balls? How often is he kind of fading out of games? And in the NFL, the NFL is not for long. Okay. The abbreviation is not for long. If you can't do certain things, because it's a business now, they're going to treat you like a man. They're going to expect certain things of you. So Jimmy Horn, I think he needs to, in his workouts, and I'm sure he's doing this already, is that continue to work on using the ball machine to catch those balls, get his hands, his catchability better. But the speed is there, baby. At 5'10", 9'8", whatever it is, I think he can get behind some of these DBs in the NFL. Now, the NFL, the DBs are at another level. That's why I feel that his ability to have speed will actually allow him to survive in the NFL, because that's the one thing you can't teach, and that's the one thing that's even difficult for even the best defensive backs in the NFL to stop a guy that can shred them down the line. Okay, so he's on the bubble for, a 7th round pick. Showing in Dallas may have solidified him as a day 3 pick. Now, day 3 means what? They had him slided at 7th round bubble, but now with the way he's played at the East-West Shrine game or bowl, that's going to mean that his stock is now going up. Day 3 means he's probably going to be a 3rd round pick, particularly based on what teams need a receiver and what type of receiver they need. I'm telling you, when it comes to these speed receivers, they go off the board pretty quickly going into those later rounds. Okay? So Jimmy Horn has probably played himself into moving himself up the ladder. Another thing I want to put up here is that everybody's got him at different points, right? Standing at 5'8", weighing at 171 pounds, his physical build may be part of the reason, but it's more than that. Jimmy Horn does not bring the typical wide receiver bravo. He's observant. He's more reserved, more than he commands attention. At the NFL level, he's going to have to change that about himself. be a top-notch NFL receiver, you got to be, look, we've seen it. Most of the receivers in the NFL are divas. They demand the damn football. Give me the damn football. Okay? Give me the damn football.
Tell the truth.
It went on. These are some of the scouting reports that's been put out there in the media that I'm reading to you right here. Okay? He commands attention on the first day. He commanded attention on the first day of the East-West Shrine Bowl practice. He tends to take things as they come. That's not to say that he does not take things seriously. It's very important. He has just learned that plans change sometimes unexpectedly, and not everything can be in your control. Meaning the fact that he had injuries where he wasn't able to play, that he kept things in stride. He didn't let it get him down. He didn't start saying, hey, I fold up, I'm transferring. He stuck it out because he believed in what Coach Prime, he believed at what Coach Prime was cooking, everybody. He believed in it wholeheartedly. Now, coming out of Seminole High School in Florida, Horn was recruited by several schools, including Jackson State. Now, he said that originally, how many of y'all realize this, that originally this young man, Jimmy Horn Jr., originally was going to go to Jackson State with Coach Prime originally. That was the original plan. Okay? But then he decided to go to South Florida along with some of his high school teammates and his quarterback. So he felt a comfort there to be able to play with guys that he played with for 4 years in high school, right? But then eventually, we know the story. He came to CU, and the rest is history. Check this out here. This is another scouting report, everybody. See where Jimmy Horn ranks on the College Football National Top 300 big board. After catching 37 passes for 441 yards this season, Horn is on the 7th round bubble, but no longer. They're talking about maybe in the 3rd round. Expect Jimmy Horn to be a late round pick in the 2025 NFL draft. At worst, he doesn't get picked and he becomes an undrafted free agent. Agent contract could still be on the cards for Jimmy Horn. Now, you know what's great. Now, you know what's great about at times being a, how do we call it, a free agent? It allows you to pick the team that you want to play for. It allows you to pick the team that you think will best fit your what? Your skill set versus, and so this is the difference. This is the difference, and I've been saying this. We know that Travis Hunter is probably going to get picked either 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 5th in this draft, if not number 1. People have been talking about Cam Ward. Then you got Shador, of course. The problem when you get picked early in the first few rounds is that you go to a bad football team. You might even go to a football team that doesn't know how to utilize you. And I don't want that to happen to Travis Hunter. But you end up going 9 out of 10 times to a football organization that may have a bad quarterback, right? Which if Travis Hunter is going to play receiver in the NFL, he needs a damn good quarterback that can get him the ball, right? So you end up going to a bad organization that had a really bad losing season. You end up going to maybe an organization that doesn't have a good coach, good management, good anything. And they're trying to put their legacy of rising back up on you. So Travis Hunter, the pressure is going to be on those guys that go through those early rounds because there's going to be so much expected of them. But the advantage that Jimmy Horn Jr. has over guys that may get drafted ahead of him. So you've got Will Shepard that was at the East-West Shrine game. Of course, you've got LeJontay Wester. Of course, you had Shador there, right? Of course, you had Shallow. Shallow was there, plus he played. I understand why Shallow played and why he's got to get his stock up. He's another one who had injury problems. There were times when he played, he didn't play. So Shallow is definitely played in the game because he's trying to get his draft stock up. That's how it works. Of course, we got our man Craig, who was at the East-West Shrine game, or at least these are individuals that were invited. But this is the difference with Jimmy Horn. Jimmy Horn could possibly get drafted to a better situation, a better team. Why? Because if he gets drafted in the 3rd round or the 5th or 4th round, the later rounds, even the 7th round, doesn't mean he's not going to get guaranteed money, obviously, if he doesn't get drafted in the 1st round. But he has a chance to make a team that doesn't need him to play right away, a team that could say, look, we're going to develop you, Jimmy Horn. We're going to get you better. We're going to put a little bit more weight on you. We're going to get you a little bit more stronger. If you don't make the 53-man roster, or what is it, 54-man roster now, or 53-man roster, we can put you on the practice squad. And sometimes you can get picked up off the practice squad by other teams that may need you. I think Jimmy Horn's situation might be a better situation because he can go to a better team with a better quarterback, better coaching, better ownership that could put him in the route to better success in his career. When you look at his career overall, what he's possibly able to do. And the reason why I say this is a good thing for Jimmy Horn, and I want you all to recognize this is a good thing for Jimmy Horn. Tell me if you agree with me, you disagree. Put 7s in the chat room if you agree with my premise. I say we got Rev Nelson is here. The Reverend is here. Mrs. O is in the house. Patrick Williams is in the house. Alicia's in the house. Jeffrey Bay is in the house. All great folks are in the house. PGH Big Dog is in the house. I'll give you all claps. And I'm going to show you some video of Jimmy Horn doing his thing at the East-West Shrine game so that you can see exactly why they were chopping at the bits to get this young man in the program. Let me fix it. Okay, my board is over here is fixed. This is what I need you all to recognize here. If Jimmy Horn doesn't get drafted for some reason, he can sign with any team as an unrestricted free agent, which means he can pick the team that most needs a receiver that does what he can do. He'll probably have a better chance of being able to make a team that may say, we want to give him time to develop. I think that's a win-win situation than being thrown into the fire of baptized fire so early on, going to a really bad team where you're in a bad situation, a bad quarterback and all of that. And you got a team that doesn't have good coaching staff. I would like to see him. I think this is to his advantage. Okay. Travis Hunter, I got to be honest, because he'll be drafted higher, he's going to go to a bad organization. I think there'll be more pressure on Travis Hunter day one because of the hype of winning the Heisman Trophy and what he's done at the college level on both sides of the ball. There'll be more pressure on him than Jimmy Horn to produce right now. Jimmy Horn will have time to develop, and I think that works to his advantage. That's my theory. Let me know if you agree, disagree, or you see where I'm going at right here. Both guys can be great. Don't get me wrong. I just think that Jimmy Horn's situation could work to his strong advantage to him. Let me put this up right here. Now, these are what other people are saying, scouts and what have you. Still, according to NFL draft analysis, Matt Miller and Jordan Reed, his prospects are rising. His performance and workouts at the Shriner Bowl practice have caught the attention of many scouts from various teams around the NFL. It did not take long for Horn quickness to stand out. I said that before, right? His commitment is strong hands, consistent, getting the ball out in the air raid. He was especially dominant. Jimmy Horn Jr., y'all, was especially dominant during team periods in the red zone, despite being only 5'8". That's what everybody's got him at a different size. Despite being 5'8", 171 pounds, Jimmy Horn Jr. consistently got separation, showing the ability to defeat man coverage, which is what you got to do in the NFL. If he can beat man coverage, and then Jimmy Horn, then guess what? This is the way I see it. If you can beat man coverage, you can damn sure do damage to zone coverage, because you just have to know where to find the cushions in the zone and where to drop yourself into the zone to catch the ball. I think man-to-man is tougher because you got a guy. What do they do in the NFL? They do run. They do. What do you call that? Where they push you off the line, right? They push you. They come up, and they try to get you off of your routes. And that's another thing that Jimmy Horn's going to have to show when he gets to the combine. He's going to have to show that he can run the route tree, that he can do all of the things that they want him to do, catch those slants, get down deep. When he gets to the NFL combine, you're going to see where they're going to have him running through the full route tree. Another thing that he definitely needs to do, folks, is the 40 time. If he's a fast receiver, he's got to produce a good 40 time. That will also raise his stock in the draft. If his 40 time is superb, and if he proves to the NFL scouts that he can run an NFL-style route tree, that he's focused. I think Jimmy Horn Jr. can do this. I think it will bring his stock up as it's rising. And I like what he's made of. I want y'all to check this out too. I want y'all to check out what's going on with Jimmy Horn. I said that scouts are looking at him. Guess who's particularly watching Jimmy Horn? Let me put this up here for you to see. Jimmy Horn stated that he had met with the Steelers scouts this week in Frisco, Texas. He opted to set out the Shriner Bowl game, as you already know. Yesterday, that game was played, most likely to avoid the risk of injury. Beyond that, he will continue to train for the combine, and despite his quiet demeanor in his smaller than average stature for an NFL wide receiver, Jimmy Horn Jr. is about to start getting more notice. He's being noticed by who? The Pittsburgh Steelers. Right there, y'all. We got a super chat by the Reb. Nelson says, that's what I said, a high 42 or a low 43. Thank you, brother. Thank you. A clap to you. Thank you for that super chat. Now, look, the Steelers are looking at him. And this is what I mean. When you get picked late in the rounds, you're going to a better organization. Yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers have had some problems this season, right? But they're still overall a great football organization historically. Great coaching. They build their team through the defense, through running. I think Jimmy Horn would be a great fit in Pittsburgh because of his toughness as a player. So I could see Pittsburgh being a good fit if he falls to them wherever they're drafting, okay? I just want y'all to know that I appreciate everybody in the chat room that's here. Rev, thank you once again for the super chat. Appreciate you, everybody listening. Make sure that you share this video in your social media. I do the best I can to give you a comprehensive program to break things down, not just say things out of the fly off the fly, but to say things that are based in facts, based in data. I'm telling you what I believe could happen, may happen, and I'm saying it with pure confidence, everybody. I believe, and I want folks to dig what I'm saying right now and take what I'm saying. I've seen this happen before. I'm going to say this again for people that's coming in. I've seen this happen before. You have a guy who plays in college. He plays well in college. He doesn't flash out the gym, but he makes big plays, right? He gets to the NFL. He gets drafted in the late rounds, if not drafted at all. The guy ahead of him, who's the superstar, in this case, Travis Hunter, gets drafted high in the draft, goes to a team that's not that great. But then the guy that nobody really is thinking about, because he had injuries, he had games where he might have dropped balls, games where he could wish he could take those games back and play better, games where he had flashes of greatness like he did in the beginning of the season when he damn near had almost 200 yards receiving in a game. And then he gets to the NFL where he's now playing with even better competition, better quarterbacks, better training, better offensive systems. And now they put him in a slaughter. They utilize him, and now he becomes a star. And we knew that he could be a star, but we didn't really see it coming like that. I think that's what Jimmy Horn may embody in this situation, with scouts that are already saying that he's made money for himself the way he conducted himself, that he's going to be in a high round. He could get picked higher than they expected. It didn't take long for Jimmy Horn's quickness to stand out in practice. I got to keep repeating that because that's what's got their attention. That's what wins in the NFL. Let me put this clip up right here this is from X, NFL Rookie Watch. Jimmy Horn Jr. has been destroying defensive backs' ankles at the East-West Shrine Bowl. Horn's routes have reportedly been giving D-backs hell. The scouts are recognizing this. Jimmy Horn has reportedly been consistently winning in his matchups. Many NFL scouts reportedly had Horn graded as a day 3 pick before the practice. Some had him as 7. Some have him as unrestricted. Some have him as day 3. Could he go higher to day 2? Who knows? Now some scouts have reportedly already moved up the grade on Horn to a 3rd round. Well, he's still 3rd round. 3rd round. The Colorado wide receiver is going to be a dangerous receiver, they're saying, in the NFL. Okay? I just want to keep it real with y'all. What do you all think about what I'm saying? What's going on, Pretty Minnie? Everybody that's here, appreciate you. Peggy, Roster, everyone in the chat room, thank you for coming over. And I just to give you a heads up, going to be cranking out more videos because I got to talk about Deion Sanders. I need to talk about the fact that he's got Tennessee on the radar. There's a battle between him and Cam Ward. Who's going to get number 1, right? Is Tennessee going to go for Deion Sanders, or is Tennessee going to go for a defensive end? We're hearing that. Are they going to go for Cam Ward, or is Cleveland going to go for Deion Sanders? Where is Shedeur and Cam Ward going to fall? Some say Cam Ward will go number 1. Some say, no, it'll be Shedeur. Some are saying that Shedeur would be a better fit with the New York Giants in a bigger market. So I'm going to be covering that. I'm going to be on the lookout for a YouTube short that I'm going to do on LeJohntay Wester. Wester is almost unguardable. I've seen video of him at the Shrine game. He's making a name for himself. He's got people eyebrows raising. I think he gonna be very dangerous at the NFL level. Now, the scouting report on LeJohntay Wester is that LeJohntay's got to get stronger. He's going to have to put more muscle on his frame, obviously. He's got a wiry front. He's got that basketball type of build to him. So he's going to have to put on some more weight. They're going to get him in the training program in the NFL and put some more weight on this young man. Let's put Let's put a decent picture of him up here. There he is, LeJounte Wester. So if you get him a little bit stronger, get him in that locker room, get some more weight on him. I see him as, once again, like Jimmy Horn Jr., as a slot receiver at the NFL level. What do you all think? Mike Lover says, I was disappointed in the production, but he is going to be a star at the next level. Right, but there's video footage, and I'm going to do a YouTube short on this channel about that, so be on the lookout for that short. There's video footage of him where he looks like he's unguardable with the talent that was there at the East-West Shrine practice, okay? So let's just keep that in mind. We got some talent on this team. Jimmy Horn's talented, okay? And I want nothing but the best for Jimmy Horn because we know his story. His father's in prison. You know, there's a whole breakdown about the story with his father not being there to be able to watch him play. So I think that this would be a great story to see him get drafted, to see his dreams come true. Everything that Coach Prime has been telling them, if you do the right thing, good things can happen to you. And he's doing the right thing at that East-West Shrine practice. He know that scouts were there, so he put his best foot forward. And we got to give Coach Prime some credit in the way that he has encouraged his players. And I'm looking for great things out of Jimmy Horn Jr. at the next level. What I want to do, folks, is I want to show you, check this out right here. I thought this was a nice little thing right here. This was all over ESPN. Jordan Reed, who I had read about. Jordan Reed from ESPN said he did not take long for Jimmy Horn's quickness to take over. He was dominant in the red zone. He was consistently separating from defense when they were playing him man to man. Let's take a look at some of that right now, everybody. Let's take a look at some of this. Check this out. Here we go. Check it out. All right, you can see that one right there. Jimmy Horn is showing you what he's made of, his skill set. Like I said, the Pittsburgh Steelers were looking at him. That's a good thing. Here is another video for you all to check out as well. Here's another one right here. There it is, everybody. Jimmy Horn Jr. showing you what he could do. I'm excited about what he can do, everybody. I'm excited. Look, everybody. Let me come a little bit closer. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for supporting this channel. But I believe that Jimmy Horn Jr. is the sleeper in terms of the receiver class in this upcoming NFL draft. I believe that Jimmy Horn Jr. may be the sleeper of this wide receiver class. This doesn't mean that Travis Hunter is not going to be the real deal. We know he's the real deal, but let's not deny that Jimmy Horn performing in the way he did at the East-West Shrine game. And of course, I don't think Travis was there in terms of, but him performing the way he did, it really gave him an opportunity to get some shine, to get some respect, to get some I can play this damn game too. And I appreciate him because I know he can do that. He can do this, everybody. So when I look at y'all close like this, recognize that we got some talent on this football team, right? And we got Will Shepherd. Right, we got some guys that I think not only Jimmy Horn's going to be, I think, going to have an impact, but I think Will Shepherd, there was a play that he made in practice that I thought was outstanding, right? Let's give him a clap too. All right. I witnessed Shallow playing last night. Once again, like I said before, it's important that he plays because he's got to raise his stock up. He can't afford to not practice and not play in these games because he's got to rise his stack up, his stats. I'm sorry. He's got to bring them up. So I appreciate him being there and doing his thing. Craig, Cement Craig doing his thing at safety. I think all these guys have a chance to make some noise in the NFL, but you got to also go to the right team. I got to be honest with y'all. A lot of the success that guys have in the NFL is also predicated on having the right team, the right coaching, the right scheme that fits what you can do. That's the concern. Will these guys, not only Jimmy Horn, but will most of them go to the right teams that know how to utilize their skill sets? That's very important. Okay, let me play something for you. Jimmy Horn talking about learning from Coach Prime. I think this was really good. Hearing Jimmy Horn's perspective on things. Check this out, everybody. Check this out. Let's hear this.
What do you think the biggest lesson that you learned from Coach Prime was, whether it's on the football field or just how to be a man?
You said it right there, how to be.
Let me say this to you, Rev Nelson. You are absolutely right. The fact that's why Shallow, let me put him on the screen just real quick. That's why Shallow Sanders, that's why he played last night. He knew that he had to practice well, but he knew he had to play in that game to bring his stock up. I see Shallow Sanders as another guy who may get picked in the late rounds. But I'm going to say the same thing I said about Jimmy Horn Jr., the same thing I'll say for Shallow, okay? I believe that Shallow Sanders will benefit. He will benefit, everybody, from, I got to be honest, he will benefit from going to a better team where they'll give him time to develop, and he'll be on a team that will be better. I would love to see him go to my 49ers again because we need more help in the secondary. There's a lot of teams that need guys like Shallow in the secondary. So I think he'll go to a better situation where they won't throw him in right away. He'll have time to get stronger, maybe even heal from some of his injuries a little bit better, learn, study the playbook, get a chance. So, Reb, thank you for saying what you just said.
Tell the truth.
All right. Let's go back to Jimmy Horn Jr. here. Sorry about that.
The biggest lesson that you learned from Coach Prime was, whether it's on the football field or just how to be a man?
You said it right there, how to be a man. You got to know how to be able to take coaching. You got to be accountable. His main things was smart, tough, fast, discipline, and with character. And them really the 5 characteristics of life that you really need to be a successful person. With that, you can disguise the limit.
As you can see, he said that sky's the limit. Let's hear another heartfelt statement that he said right there. I know that audio might have been a little low. I couldn't get it any higher. That's the audio that's embedded in the original video itself, the way it was recorded. But let's hear another statement from Jimmy Horn Jr. that I think is fantastic and how he once again feels about Coach Prime. Check this out right here. This one's a good one right here, y'all. Check this out.
On a personal level, if my pops incarcerated and stuff like that, and he been supporting me as a father figure, through life on that behalf and stuff like that, and just teaching, just giving me the game of life, and then in football, I know he talked to a lot of these coaches too, and he trying his hardest to help get me in that door, right? And on the field.
Now I got to stop that right there. Jimmy Horn Jr. said something that I think was very important. He said that Coach Prime is trying to get him in the door, trying to help him. you gotta be, we gotta be, see, this is the thing we gotta realize. The prime effect is effective. We know that scouts go to all the college teams and watch players, but Coach Prime's damn near's not damn near, Coach Prime's got these guys on the phone. He's got these scouts in the NFL. He can literally call them on the phone and talk to them and get serious examination about his players. So this is Jimmy Horn, obviously doing something that we all been saying the last couple of years, believe in the process. He's believed in the process, and now he's probably going to benefit very well because of this. Here's some more.
You know, he tried to get me the ball and stuff like that so I could show my game. Be yourself. Just be yourself, whether they like you or not. And just like be respectful too, man. Chasing greatness, yes sir. I feel like that's setting a foundation for the rest of your life. You know, what you want to be, how you want to be remembered. You know, you can be remembered as great, but some people might be great, but might not be remembered right as a good person and stuff like that.
You hear what he's saying? Jimmy Horn, man, you're telling some truth here. I think that people are going to remember him in the NFL. This happens, folks. Some guys are better college players than they are when they get to the NFL. Some guys are better in the pros than they were in college. I'm saying it again. I'm saying it for the cheap seats. I'm saying it for all the damn seats in the damn building. I believe that Jimmy Horn Jr. is going to be a better NFL player than what he was in the time that we saw him at CU in South Florida. I told you already early on that the Pittsburgh Steelers are one of the teams that were really looking at him as much as there are other teams. And I don't think this is anything that you should sleep on, that we should sleep on. So I'm going to be following his journey through the draft, and anything that happens, I'm going to report on this channel. All the other players and their draft status, I'm going to be doing reports on it on this channel. I'm doing Jimmy Horn tonight because that's where the buzz has been coming from all the scouts, all the people in ESPN, all the news and sports media, is that in this East-West Shrine game or practices, people are saying that this guy was destroying DBs. They were having a hard time stopping him when they were playing man-to-man coverage. And I showed you videos. You probably have seen these videos. They're floating all over social media of what his great potential could be. Let me go ahead and do this. I'm going to read some of the things that you all are saying in the chat room before I end this podcast tonight to get your perspective on what you think is going on. But before I do that, I want you to do something for me. I make these videos for you. I make these videos so that we can have the discussion, and I need you to do something very important, everybody, if you can. If you have not subscribed, I want to say thank you for watching tonight. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell of notification. And those of you that do follow this channel, that are watching in the clouds or watching on replay, I want to say clap to you and thank you. Also want to say, go ahead and do me the biggest favor, everybody, and share this video. Share this video in your social media. If you are a member of a Colorado fan group page on Facebook, you know, one of those type of groups, drop this video in that group, right? Share it in your community tab and what have you. Another thing I'm going to do that I just discovered is that YouTube has now, it's in the beta stage right now. They've made it now where the people that follow your channel can now drop content into the community tab. So like if I put stuff in the community tab that I can put in, you will now, as subscribers, potentially be able to put stuff in the community tab yourself, right? And I, as the person who runs this channel, I'll be able to moderate what's allowable, but we obviously know we want stuff related to CU, right? So I just want to let you guys know that I'm gonna try to activate that so that you all can start dropping stuff into the community tab to share with everybody, which I would appreciate that. So I'm going to try to get that thing cranking and everything like that. Oh, man. The NFL. There's about to be some very talented guys. There's about to be some very talented players coming over, okay, into the NFL from CU that I think are going to make their mark in the NFL. No doubt in my mind. What do you all think? Let's go into the chat room and get your thoughts right here. Let me double check and make sure that there's nothing, absolutely nothing that I wanted to show you that I did not get a chance to show you or even talk about. So it looks like everything is all good. So I want to say this again. I'm not saying that Travis Hunter is not going to be a great player. He's a once in a lifetime player coming out of college, doing what he did. I'm simply saying that as great as Travis Hunter is and as great as he will be, I believe he can be and will be in the NFL. I think that Jimmy Horn is the guy that you should not, and I say should not sleep on, because he might be the guy who just may surprise everybody when you least suspect it. Now, he's not going to get that first round money. He ain't going to get that guaranteed money like Travis Hunter, right? But he might be a guy that can work himself into a roster and be an impact. We've seen this happen. We've seen guys that didn't get drafted high in the first round. They didn't come out of college with all the accolades, but then they turn into a damn star. And you're like, where did this come from? I'm saying that Jimmy Horn Jr., in my opinion, I think it's written all over him. I think it may just happen. I think it will happen. I think it's possible to happen. Look at that. I think all eyes will be on him at the scouting combine in Indianapolis. I'll be watching it. I'll be watching it because I want to report what did he, look at that. That's on man-to-man coverage. I want to see. Yeah, all eyes are going to be on him. I want to see what his 40 time is. If he goes out there and runs a 4:30, 4:40, whatever, a high 40, he's just moved his stock up. Meaning right now the NFL scouts got him rated as maybe a third round pick, third day. If he goes out there and runs a very good 40, that could move him from the third round, maybe from the late third round to the mid to upper third round. It could even put him into the late second round. We'll know this based on what he does at the NFL Combine in terms of his 40. That's very important. Let's go in here and hear what you all are saying. Mr. Brian Johnson's in the house, y'all. What's going on, sir? Okay. Let's see what you're saying, sir. So we got Mr. Brian Johnson is saying, let me scoot over here. Jimmy just say healthy. Yeah, he just got healthy. So because he's more healthier, because, he was struggling with injuries. That's why he didn't have great numbers this year, because he had injury problems. So if he's healthy, he's dangerous. He's dangerous. We got Ron coming in the house, and Ron says, Jimmy Horn showed out at the Shrine Bowl practice. You are...
tell the truth.
110% true. Coach Dre, what's going on, my brother? Coach Dre comes in. I'm going to look at what everybody's written before I get out of here. Coach Dre says, what people do know is Jimmy is so humble and a great kid, and he wants to make it, and he's been blessed. People back him in Florida. You wrote that before, brother. I remember you writing this message before, and you're so right. Let's go Blankenship, What's going on, my sister? Good to have you over here. She says, Jimmy is going to show up and be a great impact person. He will be a star. They asked him not to play or get hurt. He said he was healthy. Right. But this is the thing. The fact that they told him not to practice tells me that they're looking at him being drafted a little high, and teams don't want him hurt. They want to get him into their building, because this is another thing. And then it just dawned on me. Sorry. I know I'm jumping from place to place here, but just bear with me. I forgot. Remember, these NFL teams give you an invite where they want to work you out. So let's keep in mind, when after the NFL Combine is over, or even before I think after the Combine, you have teams that do individual workouts. I'm very curious to see what teams want to do individual workouts with Deion Sanders, Travis Hunter, LeJohntay Wester, Will Shepard, with safety Craig, Shiloh Sanders, and Jimmy Horn Jr. That's going to tell you a lot which one of these NFL teams are going to be wanting to do individual work. And you know how to do the individual workout. They're going to come to see you. They go to the school. And you know it's going to be on Well Off Media. We're going to be able to see what NFL team is coming to Boulder, Colorado to work these players out. Ma'am, you are 100% right. He's healthy. And if he has great individual workouts, plus puts up good numbers at the Combine, Jimmy Horn Jr. and the rest of the CU players, they can bring their stock up. Absolutely. Oh, let me see. O says this. Every one of CU receivers are NFL ready. Yeah, they're NFL ready. You're definitely ready. You're definitely about that. That's truth. Coach Dre said, I would love for the Steelers to draft me because their coach is some like Prime. Right. I would love to see Jimmy Horn Jr. go to the Steelers. Hell, I would like Deion Sanders to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hell, I would like Travis Hunter to go to the Pittsburgh. I'll be honest. I don't want to I'm happy to see any of these guys get drafted. I'm biased. I don't like the Cleveland Browns. I don't like their organization. They have made bumbles and blumbles with their drafting over the years. I don't want to see Travis in Cleveland. I don't want to see Shador in Cleveland. That's a bad organization. They've been bad for a long time. If you look at their history, they get guys in the first round, and they do a bad job with the whole situation. I don't want to see them go there, but it is what it is. We got Reverend Nelson who says, Coach Dre, you're doing your good talk right here. I hear you. You're doing good talk. Ron comes in and says this. I agree. They are looking at Jimmy Horn, so we may not see him again until the Combine, maybe as early as Pro Day. Yeah, that's right. Thank you for reminding me. It's called Pro Day. When an NFL team goes to your campus and they work you out with individual workouts, it's called a pro day. Shiloh Sanders has got to have a pro day. And Shiloh has also got to run a good 40 time too. And you notice we've been seeing him working on the 40 time, right? Shiloh's got to have a good pro day. We want Jimmy Horn Jr. to have a good pro day. LeJohntay Wester to have a good pro day, because that can make the difference in the draft stock, because these teams are already looking at who they really want at the end of the day. Mr. Brian Johnson says it's really important for him to go to a team that utilizes the slot receivers like New England and use him like Edelman. Right. For example, these are the teams I think that Jimmy Horn Jr. and even LeJohntay Wester, this is the teams I think that would be great for them. The Rams. The Rams use slot receivers very well. The Rams would be a great team because of the coaching scheme, the offensive scheme. I'm biased. I like the 49ers. The 49ers would be a great team because of Kyle Shanahan and the way he utilizes his offense and spreading people out and getting guys into space and what have you, that would be a great spot. Hell, believe it or not, the Green Bay Packers would be great because they already got a young quarterback there. I think Lamar Jackson could use another receiver. I could see a Jimmy Horn Jr. playing in that system. Y'all tell me, help me out here. Name the teams. Jamma says Miami. Miami would be a good place too because they are a team that's predicated on what? Passing the ball, spreading you out, using speed against you. However, I'm going to say this again. LeJontay Wester, Jimmy Horn Jr., they're really going to have to work on the route tree. They're going to have to prove that they can run that route tree in the NFL. Thank you for the super chat, my sister.
Information is power.
I really appreciate you sending me the super chat. This is the goddess is in the house. She says, just tipping by to say great show. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Jammin says Miami. I think Miami would be great. Now, we got to see what's going to happen because it looks like Tyron Hill, what's that receiver who's got speed too? Looks like he wants out of Miami for some reason. I don't know why He just got there and now he wants to be out of there. Alhambra just came in and said, I heard the Steelers are interested in. Yeah, I talked about that tonight. I've talked about the fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers want to pick Jimmy Horn up. Let me correct that. They like what they see from Jimmy Horn. I don't know if they're going to get Jimmy Horn, but that's a good sign. But I'm sure there's other teams. And, let's keep this in mind, everybody. Sometimes a lot of these NFL teams, they don't show their hand. Sometimes they don't want the other teams to know that they have an interest in a particular guy. So the teams that are not saying anything, the teams that you don't hear anything from, it doesn't mean that they're not interested in Jimmy Horn Jr. with his speed ability. They just don't want to tip the other teams off from moving up the board or down the board to get him. Because I think the team, let me just give you some football logic here. I think the teams that are a team that's going to get Jimmy Horn Jr. is the team that needs a lot of players, a team that needs to rebuild and revamp their receiving core, a team that's willing to drop down in the draft and pick up extra draft picks. So a team that's drafting high but says, you know what, let me take this second round pick, this first round pick, and get multiple picks. Guess who needs help like that? Guess who does that? The New England Patriots. Don't sleep on it. Maybe he might be playing in New England because there's certain teams that know how to manipulate the draft to get more picks in the later rounds. And I think that's where Jimmy Horn Jr. could really be a gem pick for one of these NFL teams in the later rounds. Now, they're saying maybe the third round, but we have to see. Because the Combine and the Pro Day tells you everything you need to know about what these teams might do potentially. Let's go back in the chat room. So the Steelers may be a good pick for him. Let's go back into the chat room and see what folks are saying again. All right. So we got Jammin' Sports says, or high second round. Right now, Jammin' Sports, they're saying the scouts are looking at him as he's moved his stock up from maybe being seventh round to now maybe being a third round pick, maybe a late third round pick, I would say. He could move up in the second round, particularly if he has a great NFL combine, particularly in the 40. If he does a good 40, then has a good pro day, now we're looking at maybe a high, not a high second round pick, but a late second round pick. That's my prediction. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Okay, let's go in here. Brother, Mr. Brian Johnson says, Miami, Green Bay. Yeah, I said Green Bay. So we're on the same page. Green Bay would be great. They got a young quarterback there. For sure, not big on Ravens. Well, I'm big on the Ravens because, see, this is how I look at it, Mr. Brian Johnson. I look at organizations. The Baltimore Ravens is a good football organization. They draft well. They're always in the thick of things when it comes to playing in the playoffs. They're always playing tough football. They are a good run organization. And he'll be going somewhere where they have a star quarterback. Now, I know that they didn't do what they're supposed to do in this past playoff, but that's my point. The Ravens are always in the mix. They're always in the mix. Let's see what this person is saying right here. I heard it's Pittsburgh for Jimmy Horn. Yeah, Pittsburgh is a team that's looking at him, but I'm going to say it again. It doesn't mean that other teams are not looking at him. Other teams may not be saying anything because they don't want to tip off their other teams, the other rival teams. Jeffrey Bay says Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, Arizona, but I don't want to see him go to Arizona. Arizona is another one of those teams that I don't know what it is about Arizona. They every year they're getting good players, but some kind of way they just can't sustain success. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me different. We got Griffin Notary Service who's just come in the house to give us some love. And he says, what's up, everybody? Party people. What's going on, brother? Good to have you here. Good to see you here. Okay. Let's go. Sabrina, let's go with Sister Blankenship. She says Cameron likes Tampa Bay will be good. Yeah. Think about it. People like Cameron, Will Shepherd, any of these guys that go late in the rounds, they're going to go to better teams. Now, let me also explain something that maybe, well, let me say it like this. I think people, if you studied NFL draft, this is something that you should know. What players tend to go in the first round? Between the first, second, and third rounds. Between the first and second rounds, you want to get offensive linemen, particular tackles. Tackles are a premium. You get your tackles within the first and second rounds. Okay? You get your cornerbacks, your defensive backs. You get them in the first, between the first and second rounds. The premium defensive backs. Because why? We're in an NFL today where everybody's passing the ball. So defensive backs are going in the first round and second. Offensive tackles are going in the first round to second round. We're talking about early second round, not late. You want to go for your defensive ends, your pass rushers. They're going in the first and second round. The top guys. When it comes to quarterback, let's be honest. You can go and get your quarterback in the first round, but hell, you can get quarterbacks in the late rounds now because there's guys that are sleepers. Same thing with wide receivers. You don't have to get you don't have to draft a wide receiver in the first round. You can get a receiver, a good receiver in the third and fourth and fifth rounds. There's a bunch of people in the NFL that were drafted in the fourth and third and fifth rounds, and they're stars in the NFL. They weren't first round picks. Running backs, you don't really need to get a running back in the first round like you used to. You can get running backs in the fourth and fifth round, third round, maybe late rounds. Because the running back is the easiest position. Tell me if I'm wrong or right. The running back is the easiest position to translate to the NFL. You either can run or you can't run. You either can hit the holes and read your blocking or you can't. One or the other. You either have the ability to hit through those holes, break tackles, or you can't. That's why over the years, you don't see teams drafting too many running backs in the first round. They're going in the later rounds. Because why? The NFL is a spread you out passing game. It's not what it was in the 80s or even the 90s where it was more of a ball control, run it down your throat type of game. Depending on the team that you go to. Like the Ravens, they like to run the ball. The 49ers, they like to run the ball, even though they'll pass. So they'll still get what? A running back in the late rounds. You get your safeties, same thing with safeties. You want to get a safety in the first round, second round, maybe in third. You want to get your safeties early in terms of the cream of the top safeties. Linebackers, same thing with linebackers. You want to get your linebackers first, second through third rounds. You want to get, now you can get some gems in the fifth and fourth round at linebacker, but some of the best are going to be in those early rounds. Let me go back in here and hear what my man Notary Griffin Notary Services is saying right here. He says, I believe CU can have 4 or 5 get drafted, 2 in the first round, round and 3, and rounds between 5 and 7. You're absolutely right. Give you a clap for that one. Absolutely right. Okay. Reb says this. The pro day at CU is going to be crazy because everybody's going to show. Yeah, every NFL scout's going to be there. Damn it. They're going to be there. Teams and players from all over are training to get in and to throw for the right. Now, check this out. This is good. Guess who they need? This is what I think they should do. This is my opinion. I think they should have Juju, the new quarterback out of high school, Juju. I'm pretty sure they're going to do this. Have Juju and Salters throwing the ball to these guys as well as Shador. But I think it's good because, there's a lot of guys in the NFL who got drafted by NFL teams because the NFL scouts noticed them when they went to a pro day to watch another player and they said, oh my God, who is this guy? Right? Let the NFL scouts see that this young man's got zip on the ball. Let them see this young man early on. Let them see a Michael Welsh in some of these drills so they can be familiar with these young men early on. Not that they're not already. All right, let's go back into here, and we got another one right here. Delani, I think I'm saying your name. Delani says, you do know that whichever scout, and I'm sorry if I didn't say your name correct, you do know whichever scout or GM and coaches who are close to prime mean they want the first knowledge of the guy. Exactly. Well, that's what they do anyway. They're going to call Prime on the phone and ask him about these players, their work ethic, their concentration to details. Oh, yeah. You're going to see all kind of stuff. We got TH in the house. How you doing? If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. TH says this year's wide receiver talent in the draft ain't that good compared to last year's wide receiver core. Jimmy Horn didn't do much after the North Dakota State game. He is a 3-5 round. He's a third or 5. Sir, have you been following? Let me just ask you this, TH. Have you been following? And I'm saying this with all due respect to you. I'm not trying to be smart or anything like that. Just talking football here. Have you been following what he's been doing at the East-West Shrine game and how he's been destroying defensive backs and that the scouts are already recognizing who he is and they're already impressed with him, with what they've seen at the East-West practice game, and that they've already told him not to practice because they want to keep him preserved so that he can do what? Have a pro day so that he can look good at the combine. Just keep that in mind, sir. We know why he did not have as good of a season last year because he had injury problems. And there were games where he didn't play the best. But if you've been watching the video footage of what he's been doing, let me play this footage again. Let's play this right now. This is what he did at the East-West Shrine. They were playing man-to-man against him, and he was shredding guys, just like you see right there. He's playing against some of the top talent in the country, and he's doing that, sir. I just believe proof is always in the pudding. And because of the way he was performing, the scouts like what they saw, everybody. Okay? Let's play another video. Let's play another video. I'm just showing you what they were saying. You know, what they were saying. Check this out. Look at that. That's at the East-West Shrine game. He was eating people up, eating their lunch for dinner. Okay? Let's stop playing here. Let's stop playing. All due respect to you, sir. The proof is in the pudding. Yes, the scouts already recognized that he didn't put up big numbers, but they've already been talking to Coach Prime. They already have rated him as a guy that could go in the 3rd round. Now, I know you said 5th or 7th round, right? I'm not criticizing you. I'm just talking football here. You said this year wide receiver talent is not as good in compared to last year. Okay. He is a 3rd or 5th round. Now, you're right. The scouts are saying that he's a 3rd rounder. They were looking at him at 7th round. They're talking about he's a 3rd rounder, potentially because of the way he played in practice at the East-West Shrine game. Now, I've been saying tonight, sir, that if he has a great pro day, if he shows up to the combine and he runs an excellent 40, that could also bring his stock up to maybe a late 2nd round pick or a late 3rd round pick. Anything's possible, right? And this is another thing I'm saying. If he goes in the 2nd, 3rd, 5th, whatever rounds you just said, this is my whole premise tonight. He's going to go to a better team. He's going to go to a better team with a better quarterback, better coaching, a team that can take their time with him and let him develop because they've already got guys in front of him that they can groom him and get him ready as those guys end up either not playing for that team because they leave the team, they get injured, they retire, what have you. This would allow him to have time to make the team. If he doesn't make the team, at least get on the practice squad. And when you're on the practice squad, you can get picked up by, you know this, sir, you can get picked up by other teams. I think that we're going to see a lot of CU's players playing on Sunday, contributing or at least developing their skills to make an impact one day in the NFL. And I think we're going to see a lot of CU players playing on Sunday, and you better get your popcorn ready. Playing on Sunday while people are watching them, just like these people. Get your popcorn ready too, everybody. We're going to be watching them on Sunday, just like that. You're going to be watching Jimmy Horn on Sunday, just like that. It doesn't matter where you get drafted. It matters what you do when you get to the lead. Let's keep that in mind. It does not matter. Jerry Rice, I'm a 49er fan. What round did Jerry Rice get drafted in? Jerry Rice coming out of Mississippi Valley, he wasn't a high draft pick by Coach Bill Walsh. He was a late round draft pick, might have been a 5th or 6th round pick, I think. Maybe a 4th. And what did Jerry Rice do? The rest is history. He's a Hall of Famer. He put up big numbers. He has records in the NFL. He's done nothing. He's the GOAT of the NFL. He's the real GOAT because he's got more touchdowns than anybody in the damn NFL. And Jerry Rice played in the NFL at a time when I think it was tougher. The hitting was tougher. You didn't have all these rules where you had to be soft on people. And he played and put up numbers in a time when the quarterbacks weren't protected. They didn't have these little rules where you couldn't touch the quarterbacks. So I'm going to say this again. It doesn't matter where he's drafted. What matters is that he's drafted or he's picked up in free agency and he can make a team. He can have time to develop. to turn into something. That's what matters. That's what it's all about. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
That's what it's really all about, everybody. Let's go back into the chat room and get your thoughts as we get close to conclusion tonight. That's what really matters, everybody. That's what the real deal is. That's what really matters. That he has an opportunity. That's all we're saying tonight. Let's go back in here. Let's see what Coach, we got TH says this. He says, so who is a better pure wide receiver, Xavier Weaver or Jimmy Horn? Now, that's a very good question. And Xavier Weaver, if I'm not mistaken, he's with the Arizona Cardinals. Who's a better pure receiver, a Xavier Weaver or Jimmy Horn? Sorry, but Jimmy Horn won't be what you expect him to be. Well, I'm not saying that Jimmy Horn is going to be a number. See, I don't know when you came into the show tonight. I'm not saying that Jimmy Horn is going to be a number one receiver or even a number two receiver. I said tonight that he could be a very good slot receiver because of his size. He's 5'8", 5'9", or 5'10", whichever scout has him scouted there. What will help him is his speed. And in the NFL, teams are looking for guys that have speed. He'll have to improve his ability to catch the ball. He'll have to prove that he can run the route tree, which he'll have to prove that in his pro day and at the combine. I didn't say that Jimmy Horn Jr. is going to come into the NFL and be a number one receiver or number two receiver and going to be Jerry Rice or something. I said that he has the potential to be a very good slot receiver, which is why we said the Patriots would be a good place for him to go because they know how to use slot receivers. The Rams would be good because they know how to use slot receivers. Like Edelman. Edelman wasn't drafted in the first round, second round, or third round. Edelman is not no big dude. He's a small receiver. But guess what? He does damage with his speed in that damn slot. Is he the number one receiver in the NFL? Hell no. But he gets the job done for what the Rams offense asks him to do. So if Jimmy Horn goes to the right team that knows how to use him in the slot the right way with a team that has a pretty decent quarterback, he could have some success. And this is the reason why I say this, because he won't be going to a team that is as bad as the team will be that Travis Hunter potentially goes to when he's picked within that first, second, third, fifth round. He's going to potential bad teams. Jimmy Horn, I gotta be honest about this. Jimmy Horn being picked late in the draft means he can go to a better franchise where he'll be given time to learn. When you get drafted in the first round, they want you to play immediately if possible. There's more pressure on you. Jimmy Horn won't have any pressure on him because there won't be any high expectations from anybody on him in the beginning. That's what I'm saying. That's my premise here. Let's go over here. We got Phase. We got Phase for life. Jimmy Horn is a Pierce, Harvey, Ted Glenn Jr. Yeah, right. And guess what? Those guys were not number one receivers, number two receivers. They were what? Slot receivers. They did their work underneath the coverages. And I think that you can have a pretty decent career in the NFL. We've already seen this with guys that play the slot. Doesn't mean you're going to be a world beater, but you could be a decent receiver. Let me see. SN Services, SN Services says, making an NFL roster is the goal. Then you work hard in practice. Exactly. If he can make a roster, and even if he ends up on the practice squad, he still has an opportunity. Okay, TH says this. Okay, I agree with that. I didn't get your take. It sounded to me like you were saying he was going to be the top. No. I'm saying that I can only go with what the scouts have been telling me, sir. The scouts are saying that because of the way he played in the East-West Shrine game against some of the top talent that was there, when they played him man-to-man, he destroyed DBs. He destroyed their he damn near broke their ankles. That's what they noticed, that his speed, his ability to change direction, they liked what they saw. And they said, based on what they witnessed, that they see him as someone that maybe he'll be drafted on the third day, maybe the third round. I didn't say that he's going to come in the NFL and be a top tier receiver. I'm simply looking at him as a slot receiver playing a role for a team, coming in on certain downs and playing that role as a slot. That's what I meant, sir. Okay, Better Days Talk TV says this: peace, blessing, and respect. Peace, blessing, and respect to you, and thank you for coming over to the channel. Jeffrey Bay says this: Lynn Swann was a fourth. Yeah, look, everybody. Thank you, Jeffrey Bay. Lynn Swann was a fourth round. Look, we could set up here all night and name receivers in the NFL who became stars, or they became a top-notch slot receiver, or they became a great contributor to their team, and they didn't get drafted in the first round or even the second round. They got drafted late in the round. Come on now. Who's the Polynesian guy that plays for the Rams? Puka? The Rams drafted him. They didn't draft him with the first round pick or second round pick, if I'm not mistaken. I think he got picked maybe in the third or fourth round, somewhere in there. And look at what he's become. He's become a star receiver in the NFL. But where did they play Puka at? What made him dangerous? They played him in the slot. And nobody could stop him. That's all I'm saying, folks. That's all I'm saying. Better Days Talk TV, good info, good evening info in the live chat. Hey, thank you for coming over. And do me a favor, everybody. I'm going to say it again. Share the video on your social media. Please share this video in all of your social media. I really would appreciate that, so that more people can see the video, more people can subscribe to the channel, so that we can continue building this family over here. Yeah, I know what you meant. You said Ted Ginn Jr. I meant, yeah. Remember, he played at Ohio State. Now, he wasn't a star, okay? He wasn't a star. He played in the slot. He had some moments in his career didn't last that long, but he had moments, right? Now, obviously, Jimmy Horn Jr. is going to have to get stronger because he does have a smaller body, right? I said this earlier in the video, everybody. He's not the prototypical type of receiver that NFL teams look for. They want guys that are 6 foot, 6'1", guys that are big, strong, fast, that are tall, right? He's more of a smaller receiver, but that could also work to his advantage, being a small receiver, when you play him in the slot and you force the third or the fourth defensive back to have to cover him. And you have him running slant routes underneath the coverages. Let's say a team plays zone coverage and he can get underneath the coverage of that zone and drop into the little pockets of that zone and catch balls. Or maybe they could, get him down the field on some go route, anything to give him opportunity. TH says this. TH, you a coach? You must be a coach, TH. So what did the scouts say about Shiloh? Is it true that apparently he did not do so well? The news that I'm hearing is that he played well in the East-West Shrine game last night, and that the fact that he's in the East-West Shrine game and that he's been practicing and that he played well last night, that will help his draft stock as well. Now, I don't see Shiloh as someone that's going in the first, second, or third round. I think he'll be a late round pick as well. But once again, just like Jimmy Horn, he'll go to a better football team where they can give him time to get better, to get acclimated. I don't see him being someone that will be thrown out there to start day one, right? That's why it's actually better sometimes when you get picked up late in the round. Now, it's not as good in terms of your money, right? Because if you get drafted in the first round, you get guaranteed money. So as far as your money, you got to work yourself to a better contract. But as far as opportunity to be with a team that's got veterans that he can learn from, I'm going to say it again, better coaching, better ownership, better franchise that has a winning attitude will mean what for a player like Shallow or Jimmy Horn? It means that they will come into a system where there's expectation. There'll be veterans that he can learn from versus going to a team with a bunch of players on a team that's all losing, that all have been losing together. They don't know what winning is because they haven't done it. My Rev is in the house and he says this is my Rev in the house right now. He says, TH, he did good. Trolls put that out. Yeah. Yeah, no trolling tonight. So TH, that's gonna be it. We're gonna move on. We know what's going on. We believe in the program. What's going on? Right. Thank you. SN Services, LLSN Services. Terrell Owens was a 3rd round draft pick. Now, can anybody that says that they know that Terrell Owens was going to be a Hall of Fame player, anybody in this chat room that claimed that Terrell Owens was going to be a star, stop lying to yourself. Nobody knew he was going to be a star. He came out of a small little black college. And look what he became. So that's what I'm saying. When you think about draft status don't mean nothing no more other than money and where you gonna get picked, what team you gonna go to, which is usually a bad football team. What means something is when you get drafted, what do you do with your opportunity? If you end up playing well and doing good things, you're gonna up your money. You're gonna make your money when you start producing. Because think about it, everybody. We've seen plenty of guys come into the NFL that were 1st round picks that got big money and they turned out to be what? Let's be honest. They turned out to be busts. They turned out to be a big fat bust. I'm sorry. I got to just tell the truth. You know, it's about telling that truth.
Tell the truth.
I'm just going to keep it real with y'all. What's going on? DoorDash Revolution. Y'all check out his channel. DoorDash Revolution, man. What's going on, brother? Peace and respect to you. Glad that you came over. Glad you rocking with the channel tonight. We're doing our thing over here as normal. We got Beverly Harris who says Shallow did good in the game. Right. He did good in the game, which means that it's been put out there that the scouts like what they saw, which will help him out. He needs a pro day. He needs to have a good pro day. He needs to run a good combine 40, which is why he's been working at CU, and you see it on the Well Off Media channel. He's been working on his 40 run, his 40 time, folks. Come on now. So I'm not saying that, Shallow's going to start day one on an NFL team. We're saying that he's going to get his foot in the door with continuing to play the way he's playing. What's going on, Alicia? She's saying what's up to DoorDash Revolution. Check out his channel, y'all. Okay, Robinson's just come in the house, and Robinson is saying this. Let me see. I love getting everybody's opinions here. I enjoy this part of the channel when I can hear what you guys are saying. So Robinson says it's the work they put in. Facts. Tell
the truth.
Facts. It's the work that you put in. You're absolutely telling facts here. You're telling the truth. And you're shaming the devils. Okay. Let me see. What else do we got going on here? Well, everybody, it looks like it might be time for me to conclude the show. I've been on for quite some time. I appreciate everybody's support. Be on the lookout for my YouTube short that I'm going to do on LeJontay Wester. And as I said before, I'm going to look at, they have this new beta testing in YouTube where they're going to allow you to let people that support your channel drop content into the community tab. So that means that you all will be able to, anything that you guys find as it relates to Coach Prime, the players, you will be able to drop this in the community tab and share it with other people. So the way YouTube has it set up, they're making where you can allow people that follow your channel to participate in the community tab by dropping content. Now, what I do as a person that runs the channel is that I monitor it, right? Making sure that it's relevant stuff that's put in the community tab, relevant to what the channel and what we're all here for and about. What's going on? Revolution, man. Keep doing your thing on your channel. Sometimes when I'm not in your chat room or I'm not over there, I'll be in the clouds watching sometimes too, brother, when I can. Or I'll watch a replay of your content. Valerie, if I'm saying that right, Valerie Robinson says, good content tonight. Hey, thank you. I got to give you a clap for that. Thank you. All right, everybody. I hate to go. I enjoy talking to you and sharing. Oh, let me put Jeffrey Bay up. Jeffrey Bay, man, and let me tell you something. I noticed that there's a lot of people that are regulars over here. Jeffrey Bay is a regular. Appreciate you. Alicia, definitely a regular. 100% regular. Reb Nelson, you a regular regular good folk over here too. So I'm recognizing people that I see over here quite a bit when I go live, and I'm letting you know that it doesn't go unrecognized. I appreciate it because you're taking time out of your individual life, your family life, everything life to give me a little bit of shine over here, and I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and read what Jeffrey Bay said here. Jeffrey Bay is one of them too that's been rocking with the channel pretty heavily. Let me see. Let's not forget that Eddie Robinson put 200 young men into the NFL. Damn it, thank you. Let me give you a little history, Jeffrey Bay. You probably already know this history. Do you know that a lot of the, when we look at the NFL history, when it comes to, what's that history? When it comes to the Super Bowl, you know, a lot of those Pittsburgh Steelers teams that won those 4 Super Bowls, you know, a lot of guys, a lot of brothers that play on that team, they came from black colleges. It was the black college football player that put the NFL on the map. The majority of the guys that played in the Pittsburgh Steelers and a lot of these guys that were stars in the NFL, a lot of them came from historical black colleges. Because remember, they couldn't play at the white schools, remember? At the PWs, they weren't taking them. Let's not forget that. Thank you for bringing this history up. And the only reason why I got to bring this history up, the only reason why Terry Bradshaw has 4 Super Bowl rings is because Joe Gilliam, look it up, Joe Gilliam had a drug problem. He couldn't keep his nose clean. Joe Gilliam was the star quarterback with Pittsburgh. He's the guy that was going to be the man. When Terry this is why it don't matter where you was drafted. It's what you do with what you get. Terry Bradshaw, I believe, was a high draft pick. When he came into the NFL, he struggled with Pittsburgh. Joe Gilliam was the man. Look up Joe Gilliam, Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. Terry Bradshaw to this day admitted it on air that he knows that the only reason why he won 4 Super Bowls with the Pittsburgh Steelers is because Joe Gilliam couldn't keep his nose clean. The brother had a drug problem, and that's what caused him to be booted out of the NFL. Terry Bradshaw says that Joe Gilliam was a better quarterback than he ever was. And that if it wasn't for Joe Gilliam's downfall with his off-the-field problems with drugs, that if it had not been for that, he admitted that he wouldn't have won no 4 Super Bowls. It would have been Joe Gilliam. So the first quarterback to win 4 Super Bowls should have been Joe Gilliam. That's a little history for y'all, everybody.
Tell the truth.
How many of y'all know about Joe Gilliam? Okay, wait a minute. Let's fix it. Well, I watched it. Let me say something, Larry Cox. The reason why I bring up the drug problem, because I looked at a documentary I saw the whole complete documentary about Terry Bradshaw, talking about him and them talking about the fact that well, let me just say this. Maybe they thought he had a drug problem. Maybe he really didn't have a drug problem. But on the documentary, they said that that was one of his problems. But let me see what you're saying here. I want to be fair, Larry Koch, because if you're bringing up something that you're correcting the information here, I'm open to that. He says Joe Gilliam did not have a drug problem, but that issue occurred after he was cut and he had already beaten out Terry Bradshaw. Okay, then let me ask you this question, because the documentary that I saw said it showed that he did have a problem when he was playing with Pittsburgh, which is why he lost his starting position. Because let me ask you this question, Larry Cox, if that's true. If that was not the problem, how the hell did Terry Bradshaw take his job away from him when Terry Bradshaw said out of his own mouth, and I saw the video, that if it was not for Joe Gilliam's issues that he had, that's the only reason why he got the starting job. He didn't get the starting job because he was better than Joe Gilliam, that he outplayed Joe Gilliam, because when Terry Bradshaw got to the Pittsburgh Steelers, people were booing him because he was terrible. He admitted that he didn't have half the talent as Joe Gilliam. He admitted that it was because of Joe Gilliam's off-the-field issues with substances. That's what caused him to lose his starting job and for them to go with Terry Bradshaw. So if Joe Gilliam didn't have these problems, then how the hell did Terry Bradshaw get the starting position? Because the story that I heard from Terry Bradshaw himself is that it was because of Joe Gilliam's problems. I saw Terry Bradshaw say that out of his own mouth, and I watched the documentary about it on ESPN. Go watch the documentary. He had problems with substances. So let's stop trolling here. Shit. Terry Bradshaw didn't get that starting. Thank you, Jeffrey Bay. Terry Bradshaw didn't get that starting position because he beat Joe Gilliam out. Joe Gilliam had a substance abuse problem. That's why. And as a matter of fact, when I watched I'm glad we're talking about this. When I watched the documentary, you had players in the documentary that said, yeah, there were times when he didn't show up to practice. He didn't show up to games on time. There were times when they had games and he showed up to the locker room late for the damn game or wasn't even in the game. They had to put Terry Bradshaw in the game because he was in some type of drug stupor. Guys even said in the documentary that they would sometimes come in the locker room and he looked like he was snowed. Like, he came to look like he was on something. Joe Gilliam did not play for the Pittsburgh Steelers and win those championships because he couldn't keep his nose clean. So that's a fact. I saw the documentary and Bradshaw said this. So Larry Cox, you either trolling right now or you don't know what you're talking about. Let me see what Jeffrey Bay says. He says facts. He says you have insight, information, man, and content. Much appreciate the iron clap. Thank you, brother. And yeah, it's facts. It's true. All you got to do is go. Hell, you could probably find it on YouTube. All you got to do is go on YouTube and put Joe Gilliam. Or you could probably find old videos where they talked about how good of a player he was, but his downfall was substances. Because of it, and Bradshaw said out of his own mouth, if it had not been for the problems that Joe Gilliam had, I would have never been starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers at that time, and I possibly would have never won those Super Bowls. See, a lot of people don't know about Joe Gilliam because they don't talk about him much. Thank you, Mr. Brian Johnson. I got to get out of here. Good night, everybody. I appreciate everybody that's here. And right, Jeffrey Bay, facts. We're speaking facts over here. We're not speaking nonsense. We're speaking facts. Let me get on out of here, everybody. Tell somebody that you love them. Have a great weekend. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, I want to drop something. I'm going to drop a YouTube short tomorrow What I want to do, maybe on Monday, I'll go live again, or maybe I'll drop an uploaded video, because I want to cover what's going on with Shedeur as it relates to where he's going to get picked at. My next video is going to be about the rivalry between him and Cam Ward. And Cam Ward been talking a little bit of, they've been jostling each other. Cam Ward saying, y'all saw the video on Well Off Media where he said, "You got number 2, I'm wearing number 1." Which means I have a number 1. The guy, look, it's a healthy rivalry between the two of them. I think maybe I'm being biased here. I think Shedeur will have a better career. You know why I think? Because he's tough as nails. I don't think Cam Ward could have went through what Shedeur went through with taking all those sacks a year ago. I don't think he could have went through that and still come out on the strong side. You know what I'm saying, everybody?
Tell the truth.
So everybody, let's get out of here. Let's make it do what we can make it do. I appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, tell somebody that you love them. And I want y'all to have a great rest of your evening. Take care. Peace. Peace, everybody.
My pops incarcerated and stuff like that, and he been supporting me as a father figure, through life on that behalf and stuff like that, and just teaching, just giving me the game of life, and then like in football, I know he talked to a lot of these coaches too, and he trying his hardest to help get me in that dope, right? And like on the field, he try to get me the ball and stuff like that, so I could show my game. Be yourself.
Sports Media, Mike Lowe's, Prime Sports Media, Mike.
Thank you for the super chat.